Hello and welcome to the NHL Best Bets. Yesterday there were again handful of great games. We had a few picks. First one here, Rangers visited Philadelphia. We expected that Philadelphia would have many players out of the game due to the COVID protocol, but most of them were playing at the end, and Philadelphia took a 4-3 victory at home. Rangers just wasn't good enough in this game, and Philadelphia performed on their level. Then top game in the West, Carolina played against Tampa in the series now in Tampa Bay. Tampa was convincing in this game and did what we expected them to do and took a victory. Odds were minus 125, but good pick in any case. How do you see, Tommy, any other highlights or any comments on these games from last night?
Yeah, I have to say from Tampa Bay game, it was the top game of that division, and Tampa Bay showed why they are the reigning champions. They were exactly that much better than Carolina was. Neither team have anything to be ashamed of. They played really good game, but Tampa Bay, when they are playing at their best, they're probably the best team offensively and defensively at the moment in the NHL. So it's almost impossible team to beat at the moment. So 3-0 tells a story that's exactly how good Tampa is at the moment. Carolina, good second, but it's not enough in these games. So good win from us for us. And then, of course, Philadelphia, New York Rangers. Rangers just finds these ways to lose the games now. A lot of stupid penalties. You can't allow Philadelphia to play that much power play because Rangers are not that good team that they can climb up from there when they are digging this sort of hole. So something is definitely a little bit off with the Rangers at the moment. They won a couple of times, good games there, but now not shooting, not producing. Of course, they're missing Panarin and Trouba from their lineup, but it shouldn't show this badly. Because Philadelphia had more players off and also still with the COVID stuff, a couple of guys, important guys away as well. So very disappointing result and effort from the Rangers, especially from our point of view, but probably also from the coaching and the ownership. So something needs to change in New York, so they are still in the competition for the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree that Rangers, if they are not going to do the rest of the century lasting a rebuild, they need to do something. And the rebuild has already been ongoing for a while, and coach that is merited to build the youngsters to the stars hasn't performed as expected in Madison Square Garden. Then we had a few games that we discussed, big home favorites, but we didn't want to pick those teams, and I think that was pretty wise. At the end, LA took another victory against St. Louis on the road, and Dallas won 3-0 Florida in Sunrise. Third one, where we had some value for the visitor, Minnesota won Colorado 6-2, and Colorado seems to struggle quite a bit now in offense, and they haven't scored more than 3 goals, I think, in 6 games. So their big machine is coughing a bit.
Yeah, it's interesting that Colorado now scored 2 goals in last 2 games, and this was against Minnesota. So not the best defensive team in the league, but of course 2-6 maybe it's not the entire picture of the game. Colorado did have their chances, and Minnesota then scored in the end a couple of goals when Colorado was chasing the game. But still, like you said, this offense should be able to score more, and with the defense as well, very offensively minded. You have Cale Makars and the like. You should be able to score goals, and now it's a bit of a worry for Colorado, and they're not the best team in that division at the moment.
Yeah, I think maybe they are a bit let down after tight series against Vegas, and it took wind out of their sails, and now they are regrouping. But as every game matters in this season, you cannot regroup many weeks, and you need to be back in business very quickly.
Yeah, a quick bounce back is expected.
How our simulations overall went last night. We were like 50-50 guys, but did Machine perform better?
Yeah, Machine was about 50-50 as well, a little bit better. They made a profit, or the Machine made a profit. We had 4 out of 7 games correct in the side value, and of course that Minnesota with a massive odds of, I think it was plus 200 something. Minnesota was something I don't have in here, but anyway, it was a plus 100 and something profit, so that saved the Machine. We made a little profit there, but I think we're gonna make some more tonight.
Let's go to tonight's games. We'll have good picks here. There was maybe this time a huge amount of picks, and we selected 2. Montreal goes to Winnipeg. They kicked out Claude Julien. I don't know what kind of expectations there were in Montreal, but I think they have played pretty much as expected, maybe even overperformed, at least based on our simulations, and now very, very good coach is gone. We think Winnipeg is better team on the prairie, and they will win, especially with the plus 112 odds in this game. And then another home underdog, Boston goes to Long Island. Islanders have plus 123 odds. They have home advantage from the shift changes. Barry Trotz, a very well-known guy, to match right players to the opponent. And Boston, maybe slightly better team, has good history in the New York against Islanders, but this time we don't look the history so much, but we rely on simulations that provide great value for Islanders.
Yeah, these are great value picks, and when you have positive odds for these sort of 50-50 games, I think we are again on the right side of these. Montreal, very interesting decision to kick Claude Julien after 4 seasons. Of course, we might not know the whole story. There might have been a longer-term disappointment to his actions or some other stuff. But like we've been saying, Montreal did play a little bit better early on than expected, and now they're pretty much in their level. They lost twice to Ottawa, but so what? It was really close games and could have gone either way. So I think this is a bit harsh decision to fire Julien, especially now they only have the assistant coach taking charge. Maybe they have some longer term plan, but we're not sure about that. So I think this sort of odds for Winnipeg Jets, that is maybe even better team, definitely a better team offensively. They should be able to beat Montreal coming from these disappointing losses in Ottawa, still on the road, still mulling over the Claude Julien decision. All these things, I don't think there is any sort of bounce back expected from Montreal. Especially because if they're playing offensively, Winnipeg is better. If they're playing defensively, it doesn't seem to work for Montreal at the moment. So I think Winnipeg should be favorites here at home. And then to go to New York Islanders, Boston, of course, a little bit surprising big against Boston, who were dominant in the outdoor game earlier. But New York Islanders at home, they've played 6 games. Won 5 in the regulation, only lost 1 after the regular time of those 6 games. They beat Boston twice already in Long Island. So I think with these odds, again, Barry Trotz at home, tough team to play against, really balanced team. Boston maybe a little bit still in the Lake Tahoe mood. They were really good in that game. So going to New York Islanders will be definitely a feet to the ground kind of experience for them. So I'm expecting a really close game, but with these odds, Islanders definitely a good pick.
And there are a few other games that have a good value also. When we check these our banks, if we would say, sometimes they have been performed well, sometimes we picked and not so well. But let's start with Chicago continues in Columbus, their series. There is again home favorite by the bookmakers, but in simulations, Kevin Lankinen should take care of the business, and Chicago continue their win on the road.
Yeah, I think that game might be a bit different than what we saw last time. The heavy scoring issue with these two. Now a day's rest and probably a defensive battle expected. The simulations do still show Chicago as favorites for about 54%, and also over 5.5 goals for 55%. So over would be the pick here, but I wouldn't go for that when these two coaches, these two teams face each other again after this heavy scoring game. I'm expecting more of a maybe 0-0, 0-0 sort of thing than anything else.
How about then Dallas continues their trip in Florida. Last night Florida was shooting a lot, but Antoine Khudobin was the man in the game. Do you think Florida will now bounce back and maybe return to form that they were a few games ago when they were able to beat the Carolinas and Tampa Bays?
Yeah, Florida's offense has now been stopped twice by Khudobin. He did allow a couple of goals, and Florida won the first one. But still, Florida could have scored a lot more if Khudobin wasn't so good. So he played extremely well. Now it's predicted that Jake Oettinger will start in the goal for Dallas. So maybe the biggest fear of Florida is now gone, and there is a new goaltender they can beat. But it will be a close game again. Sergei Bobrovsky probably returning to goal for Florida as well. So in a way, the number two goalkeepers for both teams, because Panthers have been going and playing pretty well with Chris Drieger between the pipes. We do have Florida winning this game for 55%, and the odds are around 54. So there is really tiny value for the Panthers. But I do expect another close game, but I think this time it's Florida's turn to take the points.
And then if you are looking for some kind of excitement to your life, Ottawa plays at home against Calgary. In our simulations, game is 50-50, depending a little bit on Calgary's goaltending situation, if it be Jacob Markstrom or the recently very well performing goaltender, that name I cannot recall right now.
Dave Rittich.
Exactly, Mr. Rittich. Yeah. Do you think it's good for your heart to bet Ottawa in this game?
I think for the support, it's really good. We want to support the underdogs always. There is a good value in this pick. Ottawa, of course, now played Montreal, beat them twice after the regulations, or really close games. Probably very good for this team's morale and, you know, this confidence that they get when you are able to beat your closest rivals. So Ottawa is not that bad a team when they play in this way as they did against Montreal. But it's interesting to see how Calgary will approach this game. Like said, Dave Rittich, 2 games, extremely well played. Now probably Markstrom will get the nod. It's a good competition between the pipes for Calgary. There is a almost Vezina winner Markstrom, and then there is the young guy, a little bit questioned in his history when he's been in Calgary. So not a lot of trust with the Rittich, but now he's played really well. So definite competition there. I think it will be a low-scoring game, but as we've seen, low-scoring games in Ottawa might turn for the home team. So looking for massive value, there is some with the Ottawa Senators. We have, like you said, 50-50 simulations in this case, and Ottawa receives odds of plus 150. So it's a good one if you are interested in home underdogs that have a nice chance to getting the points.
Any other games that you would like to highlight here, either from the winner's point of view or then total bets?
There is the forever under teams, Detroit and Nashville, facing off again. Good goaltenders, both teams. Detroit especially not capable of scoring. Last time Pekkarin shut them out. This time it might be Juuse Saros, but doesn't really make a big difference. Nashville returning to this sort of very defensive-minded game where they are best at. So they have issues scoring goals. They have issues creating chances. So it's going to be a low-scoring game. We do have about 70% of the simulations going under because there is no players in either of the teams that could actually score goals. So it is a short under there if you like the total bets. Have to highlight also another issue of Tampa Bay, Carolina. We still have Tampa Bay winning it, and if they keep on playing like they did last night, there is not a lot of chance for Carolina.
Very good. Again, very interesting games, good betting opportunities. We'll follow these tonight and come back tomorrow.
Yep, see you tomorrow.